Discovering Truth, and I am Pastor Forbes from Abiding Word Ministries. Tonight I want to start a 2 or 3 week discussion, and my focus and my target will be the young people. I consider myself young, even though I'm almost 50, but I'm looking at the youngest from 5, 6, all the way down to maybe 29, 30. The reason I say that is because I have watched documentaries where I have seen children in South Korea, in Japan, in China being taught the violin at age 3. I've also seen their African counterparts selling rice, selling ice water on their head, and selling nana and parsley at 3, 4, walking the streets. So it means that there is some amount of ability to trade, to do business, to think, to analyze that comes up at an early age. I want to look at what I have called 4 attitudes that will kill every vision and that we must all put to death. So much as I am focusing on the young people, I'm sure the older people, anybody older than me, 50 and upwards, will do well to take note. Life is not too late, even though for some people it's really too late to start, but you can make it up before it comes to the end. So we're looking at what you might also want to call vision killers or vision destroyers. And the reason why I'm focusing and zooming in on the young people is that as I look at the generations of life that I have been aware of, my parents' generation, in their time it was far easier to get a plot of land, build your own house. Maybe from your salary you got a bank loan, and your salary was in such a way that you paid the bank loan and you lived. And from there we all grew, went to school, probably went to college. In their times, as they call it, the good old times and the good old days, people had permanent contracts, fixed contracts. You had a job and you went, you didn't care because you know that you were going to be promoted at the right time. You'll go for in-service, out-of-service, promotions, train, whatever, and you'll come back and your salary will be increased and the perks were there, and you had a contract for life. When you retired, you had a healthy pension, which made sense, and you had a lump sum retirement money with which you did things. I know people who traveled the world, who went on cruises, who built their dream house. And so they enjoyed. The value of our currencies were very strong vis-a-vis the British pound, the US dollar, and other currencies which were not even existent then. And they enjoyed life as they did. And most of their testimonies and their legacies are all over our continent for us to see. And then came maybe the generation before me, but I think if I group my siblings and myself, we can all be in one generation in a way, because a generation is really about 30 to 40 years. And then things began to change. And maybe we residually enjoyed and benefited some of what our parents did, but we are so sure that what they did we cannot do now, because the world has changed. Economics has gone way, way, way out of classroom instruction. Then we think about our children who are with us now. I have a 21-year-old daughter. And we start thinking about what the future holds for them. Because in their day, things have changed. In their day, there is so much conflict going on globally. There is no continent on this earth that doesn't have one kind of conflict. If it's a health conflict, if it's a financial conflict, a religious persuasion conflict, an economic conflict, land conflict, morality conflict, globally. And the world is, to use an English phrase, in 6s and 7s. While we are trying to handle this one, that one starts there. While we are trying to handle that one, this one starts there. And we forget this one, we pick this one. You know, like we say in Wolof, Gaspach, Sulpach. We're trying to dig one hole to cover another hole, and another one opens, and we are stretching resources. The armies of the world are all over the place. The great thinkers of the world, the peacemakers, are running from place to place. Meetings are being held all over the world at the same time. Economies are going haywire. Currencies and currency exchange rates are just phenomena. Buying power even traditional values that we grew up with, when you could go to bed safely because you were sure what a marriage was, you were sure what a couple was, you were sure what a home was. Now you are not very sure what the basic definition of marriage is. You are now asking whether it's two people, whether it's two phenotypical people or genotypical people, whether it's gender and what it is, and you are wondering because judicial systems are changing definitions, maybe by the smartness of an argument on one side, and the young people are facing untold challenges. In the same vein, their ability to be themselves and express themselves like we had playtime, conversational time in my days, they don't have. They are boxed in an Xbox or an iPhone 6 or a tablet or something, and the ability to express themselves conversationally, so that you see it in movies or on subways, in trains, and everybody's just expressing themselves in electronic media, social media they call it. I always remember this photograph, and I have it somewhere, where this man died, and they show you a photograph of his coffin. He's in the casket in the funeral parlor, and there are 3 people sitting there, and on the bottom of it they wrote, "Yet he has 4,500 friends on Facebook, but at his death only 3 people turned up." That could be a photograph, but it's a reality. It happens. There are people who have virtual friends, and they chat with them. They are not even sure who those friends are, whether they are animate or inanimate or robots, or whether it's the same man with 500 email and Facebook avatars. And so the challenge is there. Yet, if the world would move forward and the baton is handed over from our generation to the next generation, and frontiers are going to be pushed for a better world, then it's a wake-up call to our young people. And I'm sure there are more than 4 vision killers, vision destroyers, but my mind just goes right now to 4. And over the next 2 or 3 weeks, God helping me, I want to talk about those 4 for my young friends, because the challenge, as you know, is great. Nobody has a fixed contract anywhere. No job is secure. Nothing. You can have a job and take a loan to buy a car, and you can get into trouble with your bank because you lost your job. And this is not just an African story or a local Gambian story. It's global. We live in a world where everything you have is as sure your own as the next conflict, as the next health challenge, the next viral plague, the next beheading, the next terrorist activity, the next war, the next anything. Nothing is secure. So people who thought they would retire at certain ages are opting out for early retirement and hoping they can do something with the lump sum they have, vis-a-vis the economies of scale of where they reside. So young people, there is a challenge for you, for your future and your tomorrow. Somebody made a statement, and that statement is true. Take it from me, it is true. And this is the statement: attitude is everything. Attitude can give you wealth, can give you a great life. Attitude can kill you before your time, can cut short your destiny, can make you live in bitterness, in jealousy, in anger. Attitude can make you shortcut yourself. You can live below the fullest of your potential. Everything falls and rises on attitude. Attitude is everything. Somebody went as far as say that your attitude, A-T-T, determines your altitude, A-L-T-T-I, or whatever. Attitude, altitude. It's just one letter. One has 2 T's at the beginning, one has an L. Altitude is height. Attitude is the embodiment of your character, your disposition, how you behave, you, me. And so, show me the altitude you want to get to. I'll tell you whether your attitude can carry you there. Your attitude is your elevator. Your attitude is your escalator. Your attitude is your lift. And for any altitude you want to get to, my young friends, your attitude must be right. And that's why you must not imbibe external attitude that is wrong, whether it's Gambian, African, religious, Western, or otherwise. Let me talk about 4 because there are many. The first one I will want to talk about is what I call a consumer attitude. And I know that's very difficult for young people, because young people tend to look inward. Sadly, there are older people who look inward too. That is the attitude that asks, what is in it for me? What's in it for me? Now waiting daily for me. And most times we forget that the laws of life indicate that for you to reap, you must sow. For you to harvest, you must plant. I think last week or so I heard our president talking on television, and he was chiding Gambians who think that the fastest way to make money is to start an NGO and send a long list to his office. They want chair, they want a car, they want that, they want a laptop, and they are starting an NGO. Maybe they thought they could catch him like that. It doesn't work like that, young people. It's not what is in it for me. I know people around this globe who have done phenomenal things. I have met them. And sometimes when you see where they live, you are shocked. When you see the car they drive, you are shocked, because all you see is modesty. Why? Because it's not what is in it for me. You cannot start a business on Monday with 100,000, then Tuesday morning you want to take 40,000 and go to Sheraton. Your business will die. Your attitude is wrong. So young people, whatever you do, don't start with what is in it for me. I think it was an American president, past president, that said, do not think of what your nation can do for you as what you must think on how you can do what you can do for your nation. Now, I know that can be very debatable in some countries, because people will say, we have done and done and done for our nation, and the people chop the money. And there could be some truth in that. But generally, the attitude when you want to do something, because we are thinking about your future, your tomorrow, you need to be able to put to death this attitude. Sometimes you ask somebody to do something for you, something that's even benevolent, something that's philanthropic. Somebody, maybe a woman, unfortunately her car had a flat tire, and she obviously cannot change it, and 4 guys are walking by, and she asks them nicely, hopefully, to help her. The first thing in their mind is that, what are we going to get out of this? Now, you may say, well, Pastor Forbes, I'm exchanging my labor for her money. Now, what if that woman was stupendously rich, and you shortchanged yourself by taking $25 each for fixing a tire, when maybe she has access to give you a scholarship that can change your life? It's not always what can I get. Sometimes just let it go. I like the verse in the Bible that goes like this: the God who sees in secret rewards openly. When you do things, don't look around for who is announcing your name and who is acknowledging you. Let God see it. And when God wants to reward you, he does it in a way that everybody will know that this is the blessing of God. And sometimes they can trace it. They say, no wonder, he's good, she's good, I know the father, I know the mother, Kimoba, they are good, and it's not with an agenda. So I will leave that and go to the next one, because I have 3 weeks with this. The second thing is that if you want to secure your future and your tomorrow, you must take what I call calculated risks. There are people who are risk averse. They will never lift a finger, they will never do anything, and so they remain the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the world's frontiers were not pushed to where they are today in terms of technological advancement and the things we can all enjoy by people who just stayed in the realm of maximum safety and minimal risk. If you do that, nothing works. All that would happen in your life is that you are going to coddle safety and you're going to strive for safety, but you'll get nowhere. Most of the people who we celebrate as our inventors, initiators, they do things. I always remember, and I wouldn't want to call his name on television, but one of the people who we know as a great entrepreneur in this country, a friend of mine, many years ago I met him somewhere and we were chatting, and he said to me, "Pastor, I admire your building. I admire the way it is going up." And I said to him, "It's drinking a lot of money." Then he said to me, "Pastor, I'm fit." He said to me, "Maybe you have faith, but me in my business, I have fit." Fit as for the word of determination and courage, boldness, courageousness. And I thought, that's true. You must have faith and you must have the word of fit. The two. You cannot be courageously timid. Neither can you be faithfully cowardly, if you know what I mean. It's like an oxymoron. They go in separate ways. And so you cannot afford to be risk averse. A lot of things will come with risk. It has been said that a lot of people who are millionaires lost a lot of money. Donald Trump is a very good example. They got so poor that they became poor, but they knew how to do it again because they had done it before. And if you stay in that cushion of risk aversion, chances are you will never get anything. I'm not saying you should throw caution to the wind. That's why I said calculated risk. Sometimes it's just your gut feeling that tells you, do that. And something happens. And if you listen to entrepreneurs and business people, they tell you that their gut feeling just told them. And as my friend says, you must have fit. Young people, you must have fit. Please understand that fit is not synonymous with being obnoxious, being rude, being I don't care, you answer people anyhow. No, that will not take you very far. That will not take you very far. And if you have that attitude, please drop it. The frontiers of life were never advanced by men and women of comfort, but people who took risks. So you must be courageous. Take courageous steps and take steps of faith if you do the kind of things that I do. Number 3 attitude is procrastination. Procrastination simply means putting off to an unknown tomorrow something that you should already have started doing. One of the phrases I don't like hearing is when you ask somebody, "Why haven't you done this?" They say, "It's in the pipeline." And I keep saying, we cannot see the pipeline. Sometimes somebody should be doing something, they don't do it. Somebody else comes and does it, and they say, "But all this thing he was doing, look at the files, it was all in the pipeline." But we cannot see the pipeline. So you cannot procrastinate, young girl, young boy, young girl. January, you said you were going to read a book every month. We are in October. You should be in your 10th book. Have you read even 4? But maybe you have watched 15 movies. But have you built your brain capacity? When you procrastinate, I have my own definition here. This is Pastor Forbes' definition. Procrastination is the baby of laziness and fear. Procrastination is also the mother of all regret and sometimes bitterness and jealousy. A person who procrastinates, if you look at them, they are lazy. They are always postponing to an unknown future. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. And you all know tomorrow never comes. Because as we say, today is the tomorrow you were talking about yesterday. It has come. So tomorrow never comes. That's why you see some smart shopkeepers put a sign on their shop, "No credit till tomorrow," because tomorrow never comes. So don't procrastinate. The things that you said you were going to do, start doing them. If you decide even this evening as you listen to me to dust that book and read it and finish that chapter and finish that assignment and do what you were supposed to do and tidy your room and keep a timetable of your life, if you procrastinate, don't be surprised at the fruit that you have. I repeat my statement. I didn't read this anywhere. This is me. I've written here, procrastination is the child, the baby of laziness and the baby of fear. I am afraid. I am afraid. There is a verse in the Bible that says the lazy man goes hunting, then what he catches, he doesn't roast it. As one preacher said, that speaks of some nations that I know of where other people are roasting our oil, other people are roasting our coffee and our cocoa, other people are roasting our everything, and we are eating them as roasted, but they were us. It also says that the lazy person says that there is a lion in the street, but he never goes out. Procrastination is the baby of laziness and fear, and it's the parent, the mother of all regret. When you find regret, the mother is procrastination. Bumayegon, if I been known, had I known, I should have, I could have, I would have. And most times it brings bitterness and jealousy. Why? Because you see your classmates, you see other people that you laughed at while they were reading their books, studying, going to MDI, GTTI, ITS, going to the University of the Gambia, and you were laughing at them because you were foralin, you were ndagarin, you were doing beach party, you were palmarimari, and then you surprised because every cause has a consequence. So please, do not procrastinate. Some other people have defined procrastination as the thief of time. That is true. You can have great plans, but they are of no use until you sweat them out and implement them, because they will not happen automatically. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a driven passion in your life, young boy, young girl, your passion most times will bring your purpose, because I believe your purpose is most times embedded in your passion. And determination and diligence will bring it out. Number 4, and I want to end with that, I call it the barrenness of busyness. There are people who can be very busy and have no results because they're mistaking busyness for effectiveness. Busyness does not always translate into productivity. One place you can find a lot of busy people is our markets. There are people going up and down all the time, going up and down, and you wonder what they're doing. There are a lot of people going up and down, achieving nothing. Young people, are you like that? What constitutes your day after school? How much quality time are you putting into your tomorrow? Because you live in a very trying time. There are no permanent contracts, no fixed contracts. Your job is as secured as the next beheading, is as secured as the next Gaza conflict, is as secure as the next Boko Haram, is as secure as the next Hong Kong riot, is as secure as the next Ebola virus. Nothing is permanent and nothing is secure. So it's a survival of the fittest, my young friends. And if you don't strive to be at the top and be at the cutting edge, you regret. And I'm saying this because maybe you are 10, you are 15, you are 6, your older ones can interpret for you what I'm saying. Have a plan. Be serious. My dear teenagers, you can dress all you like, you can make up all you like tomorrow. Be serious now. Young men, be serious, because your life is going on record. I'll stop here because I'm going to stretch it all out in the next 2 weeks. Please let me go 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, please do not have the attitude is Lumafa and what is it for me? Stop that. Number 2, do not be risk averse. Take calculated risk. Number 3, stop procrastinating. Number 4, don't be busy without being effective. It is a cloud without rains. So it's like a noisy barrel. Please make amends, young people. And some of us are around. We will help you make sure you get there. I'll talk about other things next week. But until I come your way, by God's grace, this is Pastor Forbes saying, have a good evening and God bless us all. Good night.